I think the American people are beginning to catch on to one very stubborn and important fact, and that is that the Republican Party has increasingly become the party of no. President Obama ran on the campaign motto of "Yes, we can," and our Republican friends seem to be saying, "No, we won't." We're engaged in a health care debate right now dealing with 46 million uninsured. They're not there. They're not part of that debate. They've withdrawn from that. As I understand it, in over 80 instances on the floor of the Senate, there have either been filibusters or objections to unanimous consent in order to slow down movement. Why? This country faces the most serious set of problems that we have faced since the Great Depression. Now should be a time of working together vigorously, not slowing things down. And here we are today, dealing with an issue that some believe is the most important issue facing not only the people of America, but the people of the world, the future of the planet that we are going to leave to our children and our grandchildren. And today we begin the markup and we look around and guess what? Not one Republican is in this room. What is going on here? So I think that is a very, to say the least, sad state of affairs. In terms of this legislation, I understand that transition is hard. But what we have heard on this committee over and over again is that the scientists now tell us that the scenario that they have outlined to us over the years was too conservative, that the problem is more severe, that bold action is needed and needed now. And that's what we've heard from our own Secretary of Energy. What we are looking at, if we do not act boldly with the rest of the world, is increased flooding, where cities will suddenly become underwater. We are looking at drought, where people will no longer be able to feed themselves, where people will be desperately looking for drinking water. We're looking at severe weather disturbances. We are looking at an increase in disease. We're looking at mass migrations of people looking for resources to keep themselves alive. And we have no Republican in this room to move forward. On the other hand, if we are bold and if we are aggressive, there are remarkable things that we can do which will improve the lives not only of the people of our country, but people all over the world. In terms of our country, Madam Chair, we are living with the insanity, the absolute economic insanity of importing over $1 billion of oil every single day, some $350 billion a year, in order to make the royalty of Saudi Arabia even richer and other countries that are not friendly to us even wealthier. What sense is that? $350 billion a year. Think for a moment what happens to our economy as we cut back on that importation of oil, as we move to energy independence so we don't have to fight in wars like Iraq and all of that issue, and as we invest that money in rebuilding the energy system in America. $350 billion a year. What can we accomplish? Well, I'll tell you what we can accomplish. In my small state of Vermont, we are, I believe, leading this country in terms of energy efficiency and creating many jobs as we do that. We now use less electricity than we did a couple of years ago. And we are creating jobs, making our schools, our homes, our offices, our factories more energy efficient. There is a potential to create an enormous amount of new jobs in America through energy efficiency, which is the lowest hanging fruit out there, the most cost-effective way of dealing with this crisis. Furthermore, as we move to such new sustainable energies as wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, over a period of years, we are going to create millions of good-paying jobs. Madam Chair, as you have heard, Senator Lautenberg, among others, have made the point that our mass transportation system today, compared to Europe, compared to Japan, increasingly compared to China, is way, way behind. We don't have high-speed rail that we desperately need. Think of the jobs that we create as we rebuild our mass transit system. In my state of Vermont, a very rural state, it is impossible for people to get to work by public transportation from one part of the state to the other. They have to drive their cars because we don't have the public transportation. Think of the jobs that we create there as well. So my vision of a new America is one in which we move away from polluting fuels like coal and oil, from our dependence on foreign oil, where we move to energy efficiency, where we move to public transportation, where we move to many new technologies, wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, and others. And in the process, we clean up the air so our kids don't get sick. We cut back on asthma and other illnesses caused by air pollution. We become energy independent, and we create millions of good jobs. So I think that the entire world is looking at what we do, and we have the opportunity to go forward, and let's do it now.